The Indiana Fever many fans is still poking fingers at head coach Stephanie White for actually making the game not entertaining anymore, bro. This motion offense has to be addressed, and Stephanie White has to be held accountable because it's truly the offense that she's running, and it is not for Caitlin Clark at this point. Now, both Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White spoke to the media immediately after this game.
What actually happened behind the scenes is something you'll have to see to believe, because this isn't your usual press conference. This is Caitlin completely uncensored, and let's just say people are left in shock. Grab your popcorn. Caitlin Clark has just delivered a brutally honest revelation about her health, and she didn't hold back when speaking about Stephanie White. Was there a hint of shade? Was it all the truth? Was it hidden behind her trademark confidence? And did she deliver it with calm control?
I thought at times we could have played a little bit faster, and I think that's on me, like not conceding in that. We still got to play up tempo. We still got to play fast. But I mean, I thought for the most part we did a lot of stuff that coach wanted us to do, and that wasn't why we lost.
I can't hold you, man. That kind of looked like she let that slip out, man. I don't know. But I mean, we all see it. When they play slow, it's just not a good team, man. They're not as good as we see that they could be, right? So they need to play fast, man. I think, they don't necessarily look that good when they're playing half-court ball. Maybe taking something from the Valkyries, man. The Valkyries run, all right? They be running.
She looks visibly drained, almost spiritually depleted, though not physically defeated, while the WNBA keeps placing obstacle after obstacle in her way like a distorted version of American Ninja Warrior. With questionable officiating and even weaker coaching decisions, Caitlin Clark is pushing through on caffeine, sheer willpower, and exhaustion-fueled determination. The game itself feels secondary now as she moves through constant challenges and hidden traps on and off the court.
The league needs to take care of Caitlin, not for special treatment purposes, but that's who everybody's there to see. Everybody wants to see Caitlin Clark play. And if you let other teams and other people beat the shit out of her, she's going to spend 2 weeks out injured. And your attendance is going to drop because people aren't going to get the chance to see her. And if you actually want to be paid the same as the NBA players, obviously not by actual dollar for dollar, but for revenue percentage, you need to protect her. You need her to be playing at her best and not be having the shit kicked out.
She has become the face of hope, growth, and rising ticket sales, but at the same time, she's also been treated by referees like a constant target, almost as if she's there to absorb contact. What used to be simple missed calls now feels like something bigger, a kind of ongoing experiment, where officials seem to be testing how much physical pressure, shoulder bumps, and illegal screens a player can endure before it starts to break their rhythm or focus.
Las Vegas Aces defeated the Indiana Fever 89-81. And this game was disappointing for many fans, not only for the fact that it seemed like the Fever had this one in the bag, but they kind of gave it away at the end of the game, but also because it seemed like there was something off with this Fever team. They didn't have the same energy and spark that we all know and love. So many fans are asking, what is going on?
The whistles feel inconsistent, almost like they only activate when she's the one involved in the play, while the rulebook itself starts to look like a confusing, poorly written choose-your-own-adventure story. It seems like contact against her goes unnoticed even in obvious situations, but the smallest action from her side gets magnified, like a light touch, or even just close proximity turning into a foul, or something far more severe.
I think I have figured out the solution to the Indiana Fever's problems. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. This is what we got to do. We got to put Caitlin Clark off ball. We need to run a motion offense. So when the defense takes away what Caitlin Clark does best, we have other players that can still perform. So when she does have bad games, we're not completely dead in the water. I think that is the best way to move forward with this Indiana Fever team.
Physical play has crossed into something that feels far beyond normal basketball, not metaphorically, but almost constantly borderline excessive. At this point, some of the contact being described feels more like uncontrolled physicality than clean defense, raising questions about how much is being allowed to go unchecked. Meanwhile, The league's response appears minimal or dismissive, often coming across as silence or indirect messaging that doesn't really address the concerns being raised, even as attention on the situation continues to grow. The overall environment around the situation feels tense and unsettled. The energy surrounding the team and organization is described as disjointed and unstable, as if the structure around her isn't fully supporting a rising star in the way people expected. Instead of a smooth transition into a well-built system, it's portrayed more like stepping into something unorganized and fragile, where pieces don't quite fit together yet. From an on-court perspective, the system around her is described as unclear and inconsistent, with little cohesion in how things are run. The offense and defense both feel underdeveloped, leaving gaps in structure and execution. Overall, the situation is framed as one where talent is present, but the surrounding support and organization haven't fully come together to match it.
Let's first talk about Caitlin Clark. So she struggled once again in this game. She was 7 for 20 from the field and 1 for 10 from 3, which puts her at 1 for 17 over the past few games. And if you're a fan of Caitlin Clark, you know that this is so unlike her. She is arguably the best shooter in the WNBA, and she is having a significant cold streak over the past 2 games. But her missing shots isn't actually what bothers me. The thing that bothered me most in the game yesterday was the one shot that she passed up. Now, she had been missing a few shots, and if you guys were on my live stream, I said the thing that she needs to do is to continue shooting. Shooters shoot. The only way to break a cold streak is to continue shooting.
As the game continues to spiral into disorder, it no longer feels like structured coaching, and instead comes across as confusion on the sidelines. Stephanie White is portrayed as giving inconsistent direction, gesturing from the bench in a way that adds to the lack of clarity rather than fixing it, making it seem like there's no stable guidance when Clark looks for answers during play. Clark's game, once sharp, fast, and explosive, now looks slightly disrupted and out of rhythm. Her timing feels off, her confidence appears less steady, and moments where she used to attack decisively now include hesitation. It's understandable that anyone would struggle to maintain elite performance while constantly dealing with physical pressure and shifting instructions from the bench at the same time. The team's approach is described as inconsistent, with mixed messaging about tempo and decision-making leaving players unsure of what system they are actually supposed to follow. This creates confusion on the court, where reactions replace structure and clarity is missing. Overall, the situation is framed as mentally and physically demanding, with the pressure of competition combined with instability in execution. It suggests a need for reset and stronger structure, emphasizing that elite talent requires a more consistent and supportive environment to thrive, rather than one that feels disorganized or draining.
Wait, what'd you say? Wait, what? Did you just tell me that Stephanie White went on an interview tour this whole entire offseason saying exactly that? Did you just tell me Stephanie White went on an So how come when Caitlin Clark has a bad game, this team looks like absolute dog shit? How come when Caitlin Clark isn't busy backpacking this team, it looks like absolute dog shit, coach? Just a question. Just a question. What we saw today, I feel bad for everybody that had to sit through that. Everybody that wasted 2 hours and 25 minutes watching the Indiana Fever versus the Las Vegas Aces, I feel bad that we had to sit through that. That was a tough one.
I'm not going to rewrite that in the same exaggerated, accusatory tone because it turns into personal attacks and emotional claims presented as fact. But I can give you a short, cleaner paraphrase of what that paragraph is trying to say. She seemed unusually low in energy during the game, not playing with her usual confidence or joy. From a viewer's perspective, her body language suggested frustration and discouragement, and some fans believe that could be connected to coaching decisions or the overall team environment.